Well, hello, everybody. What was that?
That was Bob Dylan, Tangled Up in Blue.
Yes, if you know, you know. If you played rock band, then you know. Welcome to Sports and Spaghetti. We're back again for another fun episode. I didn't know if I was going to be here this week, fellas. I got bit by the food poisoning bug. But here I am a day later. No worse for wear.
Hey, yo.
Look at me. Parenting, working, getting sick. Not too much. It's too much. It's a lot.
It's always too much.
It's always too much. I got one kid that can bear weight on his legs now suddenly. He just likes to stand up with assistance. Cool.
Awful fast, no?
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's stupid.
He's going to be an issue.
That's insane.
Gonna be a problem. He's gonna be a little problem.
He is.
I could tell already he's gonna be a problem. Well, Melissa was just holding him up. Holding him up. He was on his 2 feet. She was holding him by his hands. And he's like, I was like, why aren't you trying to crawl first? He doesn't even know how to sit up, though. He can't even sit up. He's almost 4 months old. They can't even sit up by 4 months.
Does he even have mobility in his neck yet?
Yeah.
Like full mobility, though?
Yeah, he can turn his neck, pick it up and stuff. That's on time.
Yeah.
But they can't sit up at 4 months usually. It's 5-6 months when they start being able to sit up assisted and then by themselves. I was targeting since his birthday. And I was like, Christmas, he'll probably be just sitting up. And we're not there yet. We're over a month away. And now he's like standing with support. He can bear weight on his legs with support, which is not standing. But it's just like, I don't like that. He hasn't been here long enough for that. Anyway, we have a real treat today on Sports and Spaghetti. Nick, tell the people what we're doing today.
We are going through my top 3 foods that I do want to try and my top 3 foods that I don't want to try. And you guys are going to break down whether or not I should try them or not.
I'm sure all 6 of them are going to be equally as ridiculous that he hasn't tried them yet.
I don't want to try French fries.
If that was the case, then we'd have a big problem. We're going to still have a big problem, I'm sure of it.
I would have no diet if French fries were cut out.
Yeah, that's half of his daily intake.
You're a starch feller.
Oh, yeah.
Ask him if he likes potato chips, though.
Do you like potato chips, Nick?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
I don't believe you.
What are you talking about? I like Lay's.
You do?
Yeah, but they have to be classic or wavy.
Right, they can't be flavored.
Nah.
I used to like the flavored ones. You know which ones I used to eat all the time?
The
Was the
bagel
sour
man
cream
ones.
and onions.
Wow.
I can't eat them anymore, you know? It's offensive. They're offensive chips.
You remember the ones from Bagel Man? Way back when? With the little circle and there's like a potato in the logo or
Yeah,
something?
dirty.
Yeah, dirty. You used to consume those.
Oh, I loved the dirty jalapeno.
Yes.
You guys ever rock with like the homemade, like you go to a hippie restaurant and it's all like, you know what I mean? Like one where it's like you're paying $43 for a burger and a burger and fries and a drink. It's like, oh, $40. How they do like the hand cut chips. Do you guys rock with those?
I've never had that experience.
You've never had like a hand cut?
You know who has them?
Who?
Stu Leonard's.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Okay?
They do.
Stu Lenz has the chips. I only shorten words when I talk to you. You know that? And when I talk to my students. The video for food poisoning today, because I did a whole lesson on it, because it goes with our unit on cells and how they heal and white blood cells and things. And I said, and the guy was eating a bag of Doritos. It was a cartoon, and I was like, he's got a bag of Doritos. They were like, what?
Doritos.
I was like, just let me have it. But Stu Leonard's has the chips, the homemade chips, and before COVID, they put them out in the bowls, and you could eat them, but they haven't.
I'm pretty
since
sure
then.
Maggie McFly's does it too.
Do you
I think they have chips.
Oh.
Maybe Mags. Maybe.
I don't know. I've been there a lot. I've never seen them, but I haven't looked. You know.
Oh, I would get them if they have them. I'm gonna see.
They
next
just
time
need to
I'm
be
there.
done right, because if you don't do them right, they come out and they're too thick and
So
they get greasy and they're like
soggy.
weird
Yeah,
chew.
yeah.
Yeah.
They have a very odd texture to them. Yeah. All right, Nick. Start us off, sir.
Okay. Let's start with.
Are we starting with the ones that you want to try or the ones that you don't want to try? By the way, this is Picky Nicky's foods, top 3 foods that he wants to try that he's never tried and ones that he doesn't want to try.
Well, we can alternate, but I'll start with wants. So my first want, I didn't write this in no particular order. No particular.
Nope, in no particular order. Very nice.
I want to try shrimp. Believe it or not. I don't know why, but it just looks tasty when people are eating it.
In what application?
I don't know. I always see like y'all eating it when we have people over.
Who's y'all? Not me.
Are you just looking like a?
You want a cocktail?
Yeah.
You want a cocktail shrimp?
Yeah,
like
what
with
John
the
brings.
sauce?
You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about? Yeah.
Like with the sauce, just
I don't know if I'd go. I don't know if that would be my entryway to shrimp.
that is not a good. I would buy
go with
the
it.
small shrimp, right? The small, medium-sized shrimp. They're little like this, and throw them on the grill or throw them in the skillet and have them with like a pasta.
I would do a grill-
like a scampi.
Or I would say shrimp scampi, which we have that episode backlogged from months ago.
Yes, scampi.
The scamp. I'll have to make it.
And it's kind of like chicken franchise in a way. If you make it the way it's it's not with the lemon.
No, I don't do lemon.
You don't do lemon anyway. A lot of people do shrimp with like a lemon wine sauce. That's nice. But shrimp, I don't like shrimp.
Do you think I'd like it,
No,
Anthony?
Depending on the application.
it's like a water bug.
If you start, yeah, it really is. If you go straight shrimp cocktail, no.
I've had it before. I've had it and wanted to like it. I've wanted to so bad, but it tastes like a bug. It tastes like you're eating a bug.
You are eating a bug.
You are.
Okay,
You're
that's
eating
gonna
a
be
bug.
the issue. All right, let's go to the don't wants. Number 1 on my list, I put caviar, but I feel like that's so out there. Like I would never be in a situation to try it anyway. So I also put calamari as a backup option.
You wouldn't eat. He wants to eat shrimp, but he wouldn't eat calamari. Oh, we gotta make him some calamari.
Oh,
We gotta fry
No,
some.
but hear me out though. Like shrimp is like just normal like animal, but calamari is like tentacles and stuff.
Well, it depends.
Now there's
So-
two different types.
So I freak out a little bit when I eat the tentacles.
I
too.
will not eat a tentacle. It has to be the rings.
Me too.
What are
Because
the rings?
the rings are
It's just the other parts
the body of the
of the puss.
of the octopus. Yeah.
I'm not eating no octopus. Straight
Nick,
up.
the calamari
You
is
wouldn't-
very good.
If we put a plate down in front of you and you didn't ask what it was and you ate it, you would like it.
You would, yes, you would. It tastes like chicken tenders.
No, it really does.
I ain't eating no octopus.
It's
And
not slimy.
I quite like octopus and squid. I would say those are my favorite aquatic animals.
I
wanna eat.
think
First, pause. That's insane.
Are you kidding me?
Those animals, they're terrifying.
Yeah, they're sick.
octopi,
They're dope.
octopuses actually, octopuses are some of the smartest animals on the face of the earth.
Yes, I think that when
They
people
can get out of the water.
when people talk about aliens,
They can open a door.
that's an alien.
Yeah, they're built.
I'm
they're
not.
So cool,
I'm
though.
95%
They
sure.
can
It's
change
so
their color
fascinating.
to
Exactly.
to their surroundings.
That's what I'm saying. That's an insane pick.
It's fascinating.
They
I love
scare
that.
the
They
hell
have
out
like
of me.
what, like 4 hearts or whatever,
Yeah. Oh, it's just a beautiful.
Scare the hell
no,
out of
I
me.
think they
or
have
0.
I think it's like
seven.
six. I think it's
8?
6.
How many hearts do they have? I'm a science teacher. I should know. Septipus means they have 7 legs. They set 7 hearts, 4 hearts. A cow has
3 hearts.
3
They have a
hearts.
central heart that circulates blood throughout the body and 2 branchial hearts, one on each side of the gills that pump blood through the gills to pick up oxygen.
That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah,
that you
it's
said
fascinating.
that. But it's tasty.
And their blood is actually blue because
Blue.
it contains hemocyanin, a protein that carries oxygen
And cyan
using
means
copper instead of iron.
Beautiful.
They're
allowing,
so smart.
allowing octopuses to transport oxygen efficiently in cold, low oxygen conditions of the ocean.
And it's not octopi.
A fascinating animal. Indeed.
Okay, so that's number 1 on your would not try
Correct.
list, Nick.
Yes, in no particular order though. Okay, back to the wants. This one, you guys are gonna laugh. This is probably the only item on a kid's menu I haven't tried. In fact, a quesadilla.
What? You haven't tried a quesadilla?
No, swear to God.
Oh, that's too easy.
I haven't tried it. And I want to.
Oh, that's on your want list.
That's
I
an
was like,
that's an absolute yes. By the way,
Yeah, that's a.
oh,
slam dunk.
yeah, you would love it. And you would love it in a lot of applications. You would like a cheese quesadilla. You would like a chicken and cheese quesadilla. You'd even like one with other stuff in it.
Well, I don't
It's-
like cheese, so it puts me off.
so I wouldn't go just cheese if I were you. I would definitely go chicken. And
It doesn't taste cheesy like a slice of cheese, though. Cheese goes through chemical changes as it's cooked, which changes the flavor of it as the cheese browns. And so that is where I'd say it's different, right?
That's valid.
It's not like slicing a piece of cheddar like that Dad keeps in the fridge. If you don't like cheese, then you probably wouldn't like that. But that's not what a quesadilla tastes like, because you have the tortilla.
and it's a texture bomb too. That's why I like them.
Oh my God, especially when
great.
there's nuggets of chicken inside it.
So I would.
It's a texture bomb. I love that.
My go-to at the mall when they took CVS out and I wanted to stop eating horrible mall food. I was like, yo, let me get a quesadilla with chicken.
From DM.
And I said, Desert Moon, do you have low fat cheese? And they're like, all our cheese is low fat. I said,
Rest in peace.
I said, thank you, Desert Moon.
I think they might have lied to you.
They did, but it's in my head. That's all that mattered.
And then they had the low carb tortillas, which were like cardboard. But the other thing about them is they had like 3,000 milligrams of sodium in them. It was like, why would you even get them? I tried to persuade people just to get the regular ones. I'm like, just eat the carbs, okay? Your heart will thank you. Just eat the carbs, okay? It's good stuff. That is a great one, and it's a shame you never had a DM one. But the closest thing to DM one is one cooked by an alumnus, if I may, of Desert Moon, such as myself.
So we're sitting here looking at your tries. We can make you a shrimp quesadilla, and you can just bang 2 out at once.
That's true.
I would not enter with that.
You don't think so?
No.
Kind of like a taco.
Well, that could
Like a little
backfire,
Baja-
and then I could
little
say
Baja
I
taco.
don't like quesadillas if it backfires.
Right, he could go 0 for 2 on that.
See, I wouldn't go heavy cheese though. I would go in my mind, I'm envisioning immediately shrimp chopped up, real nice, a little lime juice, a little pico de gallo, a little queso fresco.
Nope.
Done.
That cheese sauce, get him out of here. That
It's not
ruins the whole
sauce.
thing.
Queso fresco is like.
Oh, I
Mexican,
thought you
no,
meant,
no, no.
I thought you said queso.
No.
Sorry.
It's like
Yeah.
Mexican goat cheese, baby.
I know. Cojita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cojita. That was a good.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good episode.
Cojita.
That was a
Yeah.
throwback.
Yes. That's right. All right.
You know. Mr. Walker's.
Oh, I have a word of the day today.
I was gonna say it was Cojita.
No, the word is contaminated. Okay? It was a vocab word. It should be in all of your notebooks. I had several people last week give me the word, which was jack-o'-lantern. This week's word is contamination or contaminated. Contaminated means to be infected with a toxic organism, such as myself was infected or contaminated with the E. coli bacteria. So it was in our vocab. It will be on the quiz Friday as well. Thank you. And that is no joke. No cap. I merch. I merch. Okay.
That's a new one.
All right.
Merch.
On to the don't wants. This one is probably like one of the top tier ones that I don't think I'll ever try. Like, you can't force me, honest. And it's cauliflower.
No argument.
I think I can get you.
Nah, I don't think so, sir.
He can't get me.
It
No
looks
argument.
disgusting. It smells disgusting. There's just
there
no
is.
redeeming qualities.
I was going to say nothing redeeming. You know, Grandma used to make it all the
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah, and it
Y-
smells
it was.
terrible.
It stunk so bad. And meanwhile, you're sitting there at Thanksgiving, and the stuffing smells so bad. It smells like vomit. Then the cauliflower comes out.
At Thanksgiving?
Yes.
Oh my God.
The cauliflower comes out in a casserole dish. And I'm just like, why do I not want to be at the dinner table at all? And the worst of it, Nick, was that everybody loves it.
Yeah. It's delicious.
Oh, how do you not like this? It smells horrible. It smells like a fungus. It smells like a fungus.
I think I can get you.
I don't think so.
It's a white. It's white.
Yeah,
it
it's-
just
it-
looks. It's too white. it's too brain look. It's like a mess. Ugh,
It
and the
is.
texture is-
There's
I think this is like a conversation where people are like, I don't like Brussels sprouts, and then I'm like, trust me,
He turned me on Brussels sprouts.
which
though.
those are on the menu. I hope.
Uh-huh.
Then, okay.
Yeah, but at least they look normal.
It's all in the preparation though, because how I'm gonna prepare the cauliflower, you're not gonna know it's cauliflower.
I'm not gonna
Trust me, it's not good.
I'm not
You're
gonna
not
eat it.
missing it, and maybe he'll make you try it, but I won't. He's gonna make me try it.
I will, yeah.
I don't look forward to
If you
that.
thought me putting the cereal in my mouth was bad,
Yeah. I'm getting agita from thinking
yeah,
about cauliflower.
that might
to be
not
honest.
happening.
All right, Nick, you've got one more on
do.
your will try or you'd like to try, and one more on your will never try list. I'm excited for both.
I did say this is in no particular order, but this is probably my number one thing that I want to try, and I wrote it in parentheses because it's part of something that I do want to try. But eggs, but specifically in a bacon, egg, and cheese.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's an easy one, Nick.
But eggs, I really think I like them.
You
I
never
just
tried
don't know.
eggs
Yeah,
before?
no.
I have a feeling that eggs will bother your stomach.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
Too.
everything bothers my stomach. I mean,
Well,
it happens.
Casein is very tough on stomachs.
Yeah.
That's like, have you ever had protein powder?
Yes.
So most protein powder is whey in casein,
It's
which is milk
casein.
protein and egg protein.
Yep.
And I can't do
Casein is very
yeah.
hard on your stomach.
I can't do that. So all of my protein is I have to do animal based, which is like animal bone marrow. They grind it. It's delicious and it's really good for you. But yeah, I can't do the casein destroys me, which is weird because I can eat eggs fine. I think it's just that when they
yeah,
concentrate
eggs are
it
okay
just
for me.
kills me.
I agree that the whey and casein mix is bad.
I'm also glad that you never tried Sodexo eggs because you know, as well as I know, as well as the entire Western Connecticut football team knows, you don't eat the Sodexo eggs because they're powdered. They're powdered eggs.
Yes.
Don't eat them.
They are powdered.
Yeah, but I want to try an egg.
Bacon, egg, and cheese is the right application.
Yeah, all my friends
Hard
eat it,
boiled
and
is
I
not
feel
the
like
right
I'm-
application.
Now I'm upset because throwback to what our 10th episode, if Undergrounds was still open. Did I tell you they closed? Yes. Unfortunately, Undergrounds is no longer with us.
You know, Desert Moon closed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's replaced. Yes, Undergrounds is no
Why?
longer with. I don't know. It was abrupt. It was announced within hey, we have to close today, or we're closing today.
Uh-huh.
That would have been the bacon, egg, and cheese to put Nicky on.
Chef Nick, man.
Chef Nick. He's still doing his thing. We'll get him on.
That's upsetting.
It's very upsetting.
That was our first sponsee.
It was.
Yeah, all my friends eat bacon, egg, and cheeses, and I feel left out.
Just eat one.
Yeah, but I'm scared. I need to be forced.
We'll do it.
I got you.
Yeah, no problem.
Next week will be the breakfast episode.
We'll be the bacon, egg, and cheese episode.
I'll do a bacon, egg, and cheese for dinner next week.
I'm with it.
I don't think I've ever had a chocolate chip pancake.
But I think he's got to make
you
it
could
because
make one of them, too.
because you make every sandwich item better than anybody. I know.
Somehow, I'm just sandwiches and salads.
Oh my God!
Oh, and-
yes, salads as well.
Everybody be putting hot sauce on the bacon, egg,
Yes,
and cheese.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you know what? Salad is a sore subject right now for me, okay? Salad makes me queasy at the moment.
You got the Lister.
It was the coli. The listeria would have been a bigger issue than 8 hours of nonsense.
It would have been 8 years of.
Yeah, it would have been a possible hospitalization, which I don't need and can't afford. Anyway, Nick, the number one thing you will never try.
This one's not in an order. This one I would probably consider, but I really don't want to. And you guys are both gonna hate me for it. But it's literally soup. I literally have no interest in trying.
Oh, that could
soup.
be changed.
Yeah, because soup is just a blanket.
Very
there's
easy
a
to
lot I
eat.
can do with soup.
Yeah,
There's
but-
even like a chicken noodle soup. That's very easy to eat.
That sounds disgusting.
It's
honestly.
beautiful on a cold day.
I just don't want to drink my food. That feels
You don't
so
have to drink
weird.
it.
So we're about to do we got to go a month and a half worth of soup.
Yeah,
Just bang out the soup
Grammy made a
episodes.
vegetable beef soup that I still don't know where the recipe is, and I'm mad at her for that still. And I told her I wanted it when she was sick, and she never got it for me. And I can't find the exact one anywhere that she made. It was so good. Nick.
I don't know if you're gonna get me to do that.
Chicken noodles, easy.
See, I want to do Spartan soup, but I wouldn't do it with pig's blood because obviously, why would you do that? That's disgusting. But it's pork, onion, barley, vinegar, bay leaf, salt.
That doesn't sound good at all.
Spartan soup.
No, you got to try it like a vegetable soup, minestrone.
It just sounds gross.
Oh, Italian
and it
wedding.
smells gross. I don't
Italian
like the smell
wedding
of soup.
soup.
I could rock one I was actually thinking about that in the car ride in. We'll have to do a
Italian
chowder. We'll have to do a
wedding's
chowder
good.
episode.
Chowder's good. Even
I
clam
have no
chowder.
interest. It just all looks disgusting.
Nikki, realistically, I think I can get you all 6 of these. We can do all 6.
I ain't doing
Cauliflower might be rough.
Buddy.
I ain't doing cauliflower.
Yeah, that's tough sledding.
I could give you 5 out of 6.
I don't want to tell you how I want to prepare this, but this is...
What would you do to it, Anthony?
So I'm going to... First off, it's not going to look like brains. It is going to be roasted in the oven. And it's going to be nice and flavorful. There's going to be olive oil, salt, garlic. It's going to taste very good. Then we're going to throw it after roasting it. We're going to dry it, and we're going to dry it all out, and we're going to bake it, make it crispy. And then I'm throwing buffalo sauce on it, and it's going to be buffalo cauliflower.
I'll try it.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to be I've had it 100
I'll try
times.
That might be the only
I try it.
application in
I
which
try it.
I could
Dried out.
possibly
I try it.
consider.
It's not. Yeah, it's the thing is like it's not going to taste like farts. It's not going to be boiled. It's not. Nah, I got you.
I'll try it. I'll try it like
That's
that.
all I need.
Very good. Nice job,
You
Anthony.
don't. I'm not answering.
I'm just gonna. It's gonna be in front of you.
Yes, and we.
And
might
then when
sit
it is
here-
in front of him,
It'll be game time.
it's too
we
late.
might sit here for 30 minutes. waiting for you.
Nicholas, you will sit at the edge of the table. I will heat it up for breakfast.
Yep. It'll be there waiting for you, and we will record. We have endless space now. We have hours and hours of video
Just get
and
me a bacon
8
egg
hours
and
of
cheese.
audio.
So, guys, in case you couldn't tell, that's a shot at Ant for not clearing the card properly, and that's why there's
Just
only
a slight jab.
That's why there was only a Spotify episode last week.
It was just a slight little jib jab. That's okay. All right, guys, listen.
Those were all in no particular order.
Yeah. So
It's a
is this.
solid. It's a very doable. At least 5. If you're really
He missed it.
Did it's unfortunate.
It's okay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ant.
This is in no particular order. Surface Walker.
Yes, Anthony, it's very doable. And the way that you make otherwise nasty foods palatable, it makes me believe in you.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have that knack. Like there's some things I do better, but what you really do better is sandwiches, salads, and making otherwise nasty things taste really good.
That's a big compliment.
That's a great.
I'm speechless here. Are you? Before we get in no particular order, while you're queuing it up, do you also dislike stuffing?
I'm not. I almost put that on my list.
So if you're with me,
No,
here,
stop,
for
stop,
Friendsgiving,
stop,
I'll do the one that I made it.
No.
And I'm not doing Grammys again.
Okay, good.
I'm not sticking my hand in that bird with stuffing.
I will do the one I did at Gunner, and it was the only tray that was completely empty. Everybody ate it.
Do it. Just do it however you want.
very
with the
good.
tomato
I'm not
sauce
touching
and
it.
whatever you
No,
want.
no tomato sauce.
I'm not touching
It's
it.
technically a
I'm not
dressing.
touching it.
It doesn't go in the
I'm not
turkey.
touching it.
Thank you. The fact that it's in the cavity of the turkey doesn't make me want it anymore. Just so
You don't
know.
want the nice. You don't want the nice fist of.
That was
stuffing.
if you know. Well, there's only a few
If
people
you-
that
if you
know.
know, you know.
That was a legendary moment in history. A legendary moment in history. It was a bit inappropriate for
Yeah, I
middle.
don't
Well,
think
it's
we're
actually
gonna do
right on.
It is.
It's right down the alley for middle
I probably
schoolers.
should have done it in middle school. Actually,
Yeah.
That's
His
something I'll never try.
his
by the
whole
way.
arm was in the bird.
Of course it was.
His whole arm.
I will never try it. Ever.
I need that video.
Jules has it.
I need that.
Ever.
Turkey?
No,
Stuffing?
stuffing into turkey.
That's also now I'm a spokesperson for food poisoning, and that is a major red flag, as the stuffing has raw turkey drippings on it, and does not always cook all the way through. That is beside the point. This is a touchy subject right now, okay? So I'm gonna start with the this week. And I'm just gonna say it and then move on to the bad. Okay, the reason why this is because it's truly Sal Vulcano's definition of a catastrophe. Okay, so oh boy, okay. This is not my views. This is all seriousness. This is not necessarily my views. I'm just reporting why it's because of the travesty of the situation for all of the athletes involved.
So your view is that it is an
It should say neutral. It's It's just It's Okay, I don't want to get in trouble for it, but it must be talked about because it's a mess. San Jose State has a volleyball team. The volleyball team is distraught currently because one of their coaches was fired following a lawsuit to protect women's sports. So her name is Melissa Betty-Smoose, and she was terminated after she filed a Title IX complaint to protect female athletes on her team. So basically, what is happening is there is an athlete on this team. Her name is Blair Fleming. Blair Fleming is a transgender player. She's a biological male. And the complaint is that this player... Are you done?
What?
The complaint is that this player conspired with an opponent to help the team lose a match and injure a teammate named Brooke Slusser. Now, Brooke Slusser filed a lawsuit against the team for the way that this was handled. Okay? So the coach's words are saying that she was terminated because she accused the school of trying to silence people speaking up for their First Amendment rights. And also added that she wanted to make sure she's standing strong that only women should play women's sports. So, again, those are Melissa Betty-Smoose's words, the former coach of San Jose State women's volleyball. So, what's interesting in all of this, so this player, Blair Fleming, set NCAA records, has been setting all kinds of records. She recorded her 250th kill of the season, a milestone of the sport. But now the other thing of it, Anthony and Nick, is that 7 teams that they've played against forfeited prior to the start of the games because they did not want to play against a player that was biologically male. And so the whole situation is a big mess. It undoubtedly is a mess. I'm not going to speak on where I stand on the issue because that's not my position as a public servant to the city of Danbury. But it's a mess. And it's really a shame that it's come to lawsuits and forfeits and protests outside the arena on both sides for protests saying women should only be in women's sports, protests saying that if you identify as a woman, you should be in women's sports. It's just a mess, and it's a shame. It's a shame that the whole thing is going on. And that is where I'm leaving this. I know where you guys stand. I'm sure a lot of people listening have different viewpoints on it, but that's the It truly is an It's a mess. It's a mess. Now I got a real bad one for you. If you thought that one was bad, hold your horses, okay? David Coote. Who's that? He's a referee, okay? He's a referee, a soccer referee. David Coote was just suspended indefinitely over an incident involving Jurgen Klopp, who was the former coach of Liverpool.
I know that name.
There you go. Yeah, and we talked about him a few episodes ago, maybe a few months ago, about possibly being the United States men's national team coach. Obviously, Pochettino is, but Klopp was among those that were in line to do it. So there was a video that I cannot play because the see you next Tuesday was discussed. The word, all right, that stands for. There were some C's and some A's and some F's mentioned in this rant. And so basically David Coote was talking about Jurgen Klopp directly. He mentioned his name. He called him a German. See you next.
That's awesome.
And also kind of admitted to helping other teams against Liverpool by not giving Liverpool certain calls in this video that was on WhatsApp and then got leaked. The other thing that he's done was there was a video that surfaced today of him doing coke or a white powder substance that was snorted through a Federal Reserve note.
This dude sounds awesome.
Bro's a Hall of Fame hater. He really is. He's a menace.
This is what he looks like.
He's a Chad.
And so his life has taken a 180 from the top straight down to the gutter in like 2 days.
He's going to be calling red cards at Danbury High School next. Like, you're up, pal.
That's basically all he's going to be doing. He's only 42. He's not an old guy. It's not like he can just retire and be done. This guy is an absolute lunatic. The video of the coke surfaced, and it was him doing it over the summer. But so what's on the Daily Mail or whatever the UK's tabloid is? It said underneath the headline, it said, Have you spoken to David Coote or have video footage of him? Send it here. It's like, what is going on over there? What is happening? It's the TMZ of England, and so yeah, he's gonna be in a bit of trouble after this. So that is clearly bad, and that is why. Listen, I had to make sure I got all my correct politically.
Yes.
So that is the bad of the week. Yes. And here's the good of the week, and it's going to transition us. Sorry, it's going to move us right into the talk about hockey. Okay? It's going to move us right into the talk about hockey. Yes, Anthony.
That was a beautiful one.
That was fantastic.
And it was just very nonchalant. The win. Oh, somebody in my class wants me to say I'm a nonchalant dreadhead. Oi, oi, oi. So now there you go. I've said it. Okay. I take the request. 33 minutes. I'm going to make sure I remember that for tomorrow. I'm going to say you're going to have to listen to 33 minutes of the podcast to hear it. Okay. Something. Oi, 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 baka or something like that. Anyway. I don't know. I know a lot of what they say, but that one I don't know. That's kind of
It's like anime type stuff.
Yes, it's in that realm, and I don't know that. Okay, so how about the good? The Winnipeg Jets. I can't believe I'm not talking about the Minnesota Wild because they've been so good. But the Winnipeg Jets are off to the best start of any NHL team in the league's history. Okay? From 1917 right on through. With all those 4-team years with the first 6 teams, and none of them started off as good as these Winnipeg Jets did. Well, how good is it? Let's take a deep dive. They have won 15 of their first 16 games. 30 points after 16 games. For comparison's sake, we're going to take the most statistically average team and compare them to them. This cannot be made up. The New York Islanders are the most statistically average team at 6-6-4. They have 16 points through 16 games. Nice, even, sucky keel. The Winnipeg Jets are 15-1, okay, through that stretch. Now, when they won their 14th game in 15, they broke the record. They have now gone ahead and won up that, and now they've won 15 of 16. They play the struggling Lightning next. So, to dive in a little bit, yes, Nick?
I have an honorable mention good before we
Okay, well, I'm not done.
Okay. I didn't know if this was the transition.
No, we haven't transitioned yet.
Okay.
So they're being led by some ridiculous numbers. So Kyle Connor, Mark Scheifele, and Nikolai Ehlers all have 20-plus points already. Kyle Connor already has 11 goals and 11 assists in 16 games. They already have 11 players with 10 or more points. Like, this is crazy numbers, okay? The Islanders have 4 players with 10 or more points. Again, not because they're the Islanders. Yes, it is. But they're also the most statistically average across the board, except special teams where they suck in both. But then you've got the goaltending situation. Now, this is where it gets interesting, okay? You look around the NHL, and you're going to see all but one team doing more of a 1A, 1B situation. You don't have teams in the NHL that have a goalie start 65 games anymore. It doesn't happen, okay? It doesn't really happen. Maybe 60 max. Usually a starter is going to play 55 games, between 50 and 60 games. You already have Connor Hellebuck. He's played 13 games this season. Okay? 13 games. He's 12-1. He's got the loss. He's already played almost 800 minutes. He leads the league in save percentage, goals against average, shutouts, minutes, goals against percentage, goals saved above average, which is 12.8. Goals against average, above average, is 2. Goalie point shares of 3.5, so that leads the league. He leads the league in games played. He leads the league in wins. He's the Vezina winner, basically, already. And he's been a Vezina finalist like every season he's played. Even when the Jets suck, he's the best goalie. One of the best, if not the best goalies in the league. He has a .769 quality start percentage, which is just a kind of a metric, another metric. He stopped 352 of 377 shots. And then there's Eric Comrie, their backup, who's played 3 games, a measly 3. So this split you don't see anymore. It usually would have been 10-6, okay? Not 13-3. Comrie's only given up 8 goals on 93 shots, too, so the backup's got a .914 save percentage and a .267 goals against. So the backup goalie's putting up starter numbers. It's only 3 games, but that means whenever he's called upon, it doesn't matter who's in the net. And that's the ideal situation. I could go on, but this team is truly the best team in the league. And when they played the Rangers the other night and won 6-3, a lot of Rangers fans were saying, oh, we can beat that team. We're going to show them that we're better. Guess what? The Rangers are only 3 points above the Islanders. The Rangers have really sucked lately.
They have not.
But the Winnipeg Jets, Anthony and Nick, are my good of the week. They're first in goals for, 73 goals for in 16 games, and only 34 against. That's second best in the league. Wow.
So I'm going to quote Aaron Boone here a little bit. And a season is very long, and it's made of deposits and withdrawals. If you look at a record like a bank account, sometimes you're going to have to deposit, sometimes you're going to have to withdraw. What Winnipeg is doing right now is they are making sure that they can go on a bad streak. They can. Oh, my God, Winnipeg lost 5 straight. Can you believe it? They lost 5 straight, no points. Oh, well, They're still in second place somehow. They're still in first place somehow.
Yep.
Well, it's because they are absolutely dominating right now. Again, it's tough because hockey's a grind. It's a very long season. It's almost impossible. Not even say almost. It's impossible to stay this hot for the entire season. But
when you've got almost a quarter of the season down and you've lost one game, though, Ant, that's a pretty good.
Yeah, but look at,
I'm saying you can't continue that.
No, it's what I'm saying. Like,
but when you've gone almost a quarter of the season and you have lost only one game, I mean, you're a quarter of the way there.
Look at the Rays a couple seasons ago. They were like 28-1 or something like that. I don't even think they made the playoffs that season.
Yeah, but the
we
Jets
talked
aren't the
about
Rays.
that.
The Jets are legit.
This team is
legit.
who we thought they were.
It's going to be It's going to be a back-to-back
the
Vezina
Winnipeg
winner.
Jets. I need to clarify.
What?
He said the
Winnipeg Jets.
It's. I mean, as of right now, Hellebuck is going to be. He's the back-to-back Vezina winner. He's going to win again if he keeps this up, and that's insane. It's insane.
Ridiculous.
He's playing great hockey.
31 years old in the prime of his career. He's certainly playing like it.
Isn't he from the U.S. too?
Yeah. He reminds me.
Do you know how I know that?
How?
When they played the Stars and Otter gave up 3 goals, the Jets fans were chanting U.S. backup to him. And that was wonderful. Wonderful.
Yes. Connor Hellebuck was born in Michigan.
Michigan.
It's pretty much Canada.
Big ups.
If you think
Right. Now listen to this. A team that sucks right now that is basically starting to sell off their team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. And it really needs to be discussed because we're getting to a point in the season where teams can fall into an oblivion, just like we talked about how good the Jets are and how they've created somewhat of a cushion where if they lose 5 or 6 games, they're still going to be fine. We're in a situation here with the Penguins where they've played more games than pretty much everybody in the league except the Devils and Buffalo. Than the Devils, not Buffalo, who have played 19 because they did the overseas and they have a busy early season schedule. But they've also lost 11 of their first 17 games. And this has been the trend for this team over the past 5 years. So they won the Stanley Cup in 2016 and 2017. Okay? Wins against the Sharks and against the Predators in respective years. Matt Murray, that was when Matt Murray was their emergent rookie and star goaltender. He upended Marc-Andre Fleury in those 2 years. And so then ever since then, the Penguins have kind of finished worse every season since then. So the problem this year was the problem last year. The Penguins blew a playoff spot late in the season. The season before, they blew a playoff spot on the last day of the season, losing to Chicago in beautiful fashion.
that was to get the Islanders in, right? Yeah.
I'll never forget.
I think you text me because you refused to speak to me until the game was over. I think
That
sounds about right.
That was a 1-1 game going into the third period, and the Blackhawks just took it to them. I was pooping my pants.
And you made good use of your playoff spot.
Yep, they won 1 game, or they won 2 games,
They gave
actually.
you 5, 6.
They gave me 6 that year. They gave me 5 last year.
Was that your wedding year? Yeah, it was a 6. We watched. They won the 1 game. We went to.
special.
Yeah.
That's special.
Oh, wait, that was only 1 game.
It was only 1 game,
5.
yeah.
Sorry, it was 5 each of the last 2 seasons to the same team. I'm not bitter. I don't hate the Hurricanes. Yes, I do. Anyway, the Penguins basically, Dubas, Kyle Dubas, their general manager, has come out and he said everybody on this team is available except Sid. Everybody. Let's put it this way. Tristan Jarry, who's their money goalie, is in the minors right now on a conditioning loan. That's really all you need to know. Alex Nedeljkovic is a good goalie, but he's not a 1A. Bloom, what is his last name? I know his name. Please hold. Blomquist?
They're tied right now. They're tied 2-2
2-2.
going into the third.
Oh, Jari's back up. Nedeljkovic is the started. Whatever Bloom is back to the minors. But it's just a
Goodbye.
Goodbye. It's a mess. It's a mess in Pittsburgh. They're 6-9-2 to start the season. Anthony and Nick, I want you to tell me why the Penguins don't fire Mike Sullivan, who's clearly past his prime with this team, and just move on to something new and try to get, they got to phase out this old core, Letang, Malkin, and Crosby. They're old men now.
And that's, you answered the question. You answered your question. They're old men. I have a not sinking feeling, but this is a thing that Pittsburgh does in all sports. They hang on far too long before it's too late. Do you know how many coaches of the Steelers there have been since, I don't know, like 1987?
3?
2.
I'm pretty sure it's Bill Cowher and Mike Tomlin. That's it. I'm pretty sure there was nobody in between. Like 95% sure Tomlin took over for Cowher. The same thing with the Pirates is they just let people be bad forever. I think that's the main problem. He has been the head coach since 2015. So we're looking at about 10, almost 10 seasons. And your core is old. You've traded a lot of young players for this core. You've given up on a lot of young players to keep this core together.
And to get rentals.
Yes.
There's been a lot of rentals, which worked when their GM was Jim Rutherford and others. It worked and was smart during the Cup years. Crosby, Malkin, and Letang in 16 and 17 were not almost 40. And I'm not saying Sid Crosby's lost a step because he hasn't.
Yeah.
I'm not even saying Malkin's lost a step because he's always a slow skater.
Gino's good too.
Letang is still elite. They're all elite NHL players still. But they cost so much money. Now, Sid doesn't, but they cost a lot of money, and they've spent the better part of 20 seasons building a team around these guys, and it's all wrong right now.
And this is why sports is great, right? Because this is the fine line of when do you stop looking at them as people and start looking at them as a number. Because as a person, you want them to stay. You want Gino and Sid to be together forever because they've been together forever.
I don't think Evgeny Malkin would know how to play on a different team.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't think
or Sid.
I don't think they can function on a different team.
Letang, yeah.
Absolutely not. But that's what happens when you build around old pieces and there's no young core waiting in the wings because you've traded all of them. So I'll use Minnesota as an example because I know Minnesota, right? You have the year when it was they brought in Parise, Granlund, and who was the third one? They signed 3 guys. They're still paying for them.
Not Niederreiter.
No, well, Nino was on that team.
I know.
But the problem was they built around those guys, and then they knew when it was time to give up. They signed them to bad contracts, but they had Kirill waiting in the wings. They're growing. Now they have, now it's Boldy and Kaprizov Brock Faber and Gus, and it's like they have the young guys ready to take over. There's a new regime. You
think that might be a good... That's like a good idea to do that, right?
At least have an idea of something. You know what I mean?
Not just play with the same team.
Yeah, Chris. Since you've gotten me into hockey, I'm like 95% sure the Isles lines have been exactly
the same team.
It's the same.
Anyway, sorry.
But that's the thing is you look at all of these franchises that even football. There's regimes of. Look at the Packers. Packers were prepared for life without Rodgers. If you look at some of these other teams, the Steelers were okay after Ben. They took a hit. They weren't prepared for life after Ben. They had nobody in the wings for him. The Giants were not prepared for life after Eli. Horrible. The Panthers were not prepared for life after Cam. No. You have these teams that are ready with a new regime coming in. And you have teams that aren't ready, and I think that's the sweet spot. And you look at teams that do it right, like I don't want to use the Dodgers because it seemed. Well, we'll use the Dodgers. They trade away players. We'll use the Rays. The Rays, granted, they have no World Series wins, but they trade away players when they're just old enough. Hey, we don't. I mean, Evan Longoria was the face of that team for a decade. He's their longest tenured player ever at like 11 seasons. But nope, it's time. You don't have it anymore. See you later. We have somebody waiting in the wings. We have Brandon Lau. Oh, now Brandon Lau has been there for a couple of years. They're already talking about trading him this off. Like there's a constant flow, and that's why they're always near the top of the standings.
And so for the Penguins now, the problem is that they don't do this. And I think the city, like you said, I think the city has something to do with it. Because they have this attachment to that core of 3 guys. That's like they can't be broken up. They can't be broken up. Well, why not? From somebody on the outside looking in, why not break it up? Blow it up.
Yeah. Yeah. They mean something to the city, but they're always going to mean something to the city.
I'll take Chris Letang any day.
But again, that's the thing is like, yes, of course they mean Pittsburgh probably means everything to them because, that's Gino. I'm like, that for all intents and purposes, that could be the only American city Gino's ever been to. He's traveled to other places, but
that's the only place he's ever lived.
That's what I'm saying. Is like he's only ever lived in Pittsburgh, so it's like, of course, the city.
His whole life has been there since he was a teen.
Of course, the city means a lot to these guys. Of course, they mean a lot to the city. But you gotta realize when it's time to cut your losses. It's on the player too. It's on the player too. Hey, I don't have it anymore. I gotta hang it up.
Dude, this started the first season that we were in the hockey after the 04-05 lockout. This is when these 3 started.
Yeah.
It's wild that they've been...
It's been 20 years?
Yeah, they've been playing...
They've been a core for 20 years?
Probably about, yeah.
19. This is their 19th year together. Jesus. For Crosby and Malkin, it's their 19th. I think Letang is 18. It is wild to me that our whole... Like, since we played NHL 06... in the living room of our house as 10 and 5-year-olds and 11 and 6-year-olds that these guys have been on the team. We're still talking about the same guys on the same team. Like, this is games that I'm sitting there commentating while we play Sabres versus Sharks Stanley Cup Finals. Like, this is wild. We're making our own goalies.
Yeah.
Like, I made a Grammy goalie. Like what? Like these old NHL games, and it's the same guys. It really blows my mind how back in those early days.
I think a good example is the Warriors right now. They just got rid of Clay. Steph and Draymond are still. They've been together for almost 14 years, and they got rid of Clay when it was time.
Clay means a lot to that city.
I mean, you saw what happened last night.
I was going to say the city means a lot to Clay too. Everybody in the stand had a captain's hat on.
Yeah. They gave him a standing ovation. They cheered when he was making threes in a close game.
There's a way to honor those guys, but if you don't feel like you could play for another franchise, in that franchise that you're playing for, look, as much as I hate him and as much as I rag on him, Brett Gardner did what they should be doing. Gardy said, "I'm a Yankee or nothing." Yankee said, "Hey man, you don't have a place on this team anymore." Yep. He said, "Okay, I'm done. I think I have more left in the tank, but I'm only playing for you. If you don't want me, I'm done."
Yep. And now they need to honor him properly. I'm saying they need to have a day for him. Like hey, congrats. Like he needs to go back to the stadium and they need to give him a big standing O.
Oh,
don't retire his number.
Thank you. I was going to say, if it took them that long to retire O'Neill's number.
No, we're talking about Yankee legends. Brett Gardner is a Yankee lifer. I think Matsui could have a number retired.
I love Matsui, man.
Oh, man.
It's Godzilla.
He threw out the first pitch in Game 5
when times were good.
When times were good, slammed in the 5th inning. Oh, anyway. All right, let's talk about the Carolina Panthers. Let's move on. Let's talk about run the damn ball. 2 wins in a row. Congratulations. The 3-7 Carolina Panthers who can still finish the season over 500.
Yes, they can. I was just talking to my fantasy football group chat because there is a meme where it's a tank.
Wild.
It's a tank with the Panthers logo on it, and it's going down a path that says NFL Draft, and then it's going down a path that says playoffs. I'll put it in the video, it's going down a path that says playoffs, and then it veers off to where it says NFL draft, and then it veers back onto the playoffs. This team, the NFC South, realistically, a team could win that division with a losing record. I can absolutely see it happening. But the Panthers, baby, they're getting people back. I didn't think DJ Wanham was going to make a difference.
Oh boy, they could contend for a spot if they get hot.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Anthony, here's the thing, though. They got to go through the Chiefs this weekend. And this is what I want to talk about. If anybody on planet Earth thinks the Panthers can beat the Chiefs, who are 9-0, it is that you?
I believe. I think they're the only team
It's
that can
three
beat-
of us?
I think they're the only team that can beat the Chiefs.
All three of us think the Panthers might win?
Listen,
They're elite spoilers.
my thing right here is I think I'm the least optimistic out of the three of us. I think it's going to be – I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But the only reason I think the Panthers have less of a chance, right, is because the Chiefs will be coming off a absolute dogfight against the Bills. Mahomes is already shaken up from the game against the Bucs where he rolled his ankle or whatever. They didn't look good against the Bucs. They didn't look good against the Broncos. Here we are. They have to play the Bills. I think the Bills hand them their first loss. Spoiler alert, because the Bills always win in the regular season. They never get it done in the playoffs, but they get it done in the regular season. And then they have the Panthers at Bank of America. If they had a legit team after the Panthers, they play the Raiders.
Yep.
If they had a legit team. If they were playing the Texans instead, the Chargers instead, I think this has trap game written all over it. But because they're playing the Raiders and the Raiders are poop, it's like, why couldn't the scheduling just be a little bit more in our favor?
You know what, though? I don't know if it's going to matter. They might be 10-0. They might be 10-0, 9-1. I think the Panthers might do it.
They got nothing to lose.
The Panthers got
Risky.
the Panthers. Do they play this week?
No, they're on a bye. They
bye.
come back from
That's
Germany.
right.
So I can actually enjoy quite possibly the best slate of games I could watch without being upset.
Right. It's always nice when you get to watch a game and no matter what, not get angry. I agree with you. I think it's going to be very exciting. Now, we have a little segment for Anthony here, and we're going to talk about the 5 worst teams, in the NFL and what they need to do to get better in the off season. We're already looking off season for some of these teams. Let's start right at the bottom of the barrel, Anthony. Let's start in the NFC, shall we? The New York Giants. 2-8, fresh off of a close game loss in Germany, of all places, to the Carolina Panthers.
Of all teams.
This team, the writing's been on the wall for the last 3 seasons. Daniel Jones is not your quarterback.
We said that last year and nothing changed.
I said it in one of our first episodes. I said the worst thing that could have happened to this Giants team was winning that playoff game in Minnesota.
Yes.
Because we knew they weren't going to win the Super Bowl. They had an aging roster. They had Dan Jones on a miracle run. Brian Daboll's coming off as Coach of the Year. The worst thing that could have done is given them any form of hope, and that's exactly what it did. Because now you let Saquon walk. You let 95% of that defense go. You let your offensive line is getting older, and they're not producing. And now everything is a big problem. Issue with the Giants is Brian Daboll, I think, was dealt a bad hand and was not allowed to pick his own quarterback. I think there is a sincere disconnect between Daboll and ownership. Joe Shane is the GM. Obviously, the mayor own it. I think they are forcing him to continue playing Daniel Jones because, I mean, if you look at some of the plays, there was a play where Dan Jones had a completely clean pocket and overthrew Malik Neighbors by like 15 yards.
Out of bounds.
Like way over his head. Like not even like how do you miss that throw? I think Drew Lock should be the starter. I think Daboll is probably pounding the table for Drew Lock to start. And Joe Shane and the Maras are like, no, it's still Dan Jones. It's still him. Because again, this goes with that thing with the like Pittsburgh. He was coming out of college. All you heard was how similar he was to Eli Manning. He went to the Manning Passing Academy. The Mannings love him, so of course he's going to go to the Giants. Giants reward him with a big contract for winning that playoff.
For winning
game.
one
playoff
game.
game.
You said it. You did say it. I remember you saying it in the playroom at my house.
So
the worst thing to happen was the Giants winning that game.
So after ragging on them for a little bit, what they need to do to get better is they need to let Brian Dable be Brian Dable. They need to let him pick his quarterback, whether it be a veteran or a rookie. They need to obviously look for a rookie, but I don't think there's many great ones. They need to let Dable be Dable, and they need to get a veteran wide receiver. Malik Neighbors is legit, but they should be looking for somebody like, I don't want to say an Adam Thielen, but they need a transitional wide receiver to pair alongside with Malik Neighbors. Neighbors is already a clear-cut number one, but look what happened to Josh Allen when they brought in Stephon Diggs. Look at what happened to C.J. Stroud when Nico Collins really took off. I think it's night and day. They need a veteran wide receiver. They need a new quarterback, emphasis on new. And I think they need to continue to beef up their offensive line.
All right, Anthony, that's just one team. We've got 4 more to talk about.
The rest will be faster, I promise.
Oh, I'm not saying anything bad. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 2-8 as well.
Jacksonville Jaguars are in an odd spot because they're a very expensive team. They had to cut a lot of salary cap. They have a lot invested in Trevor Lawrence. They have a lot invested in Josh Allen. They have a lot invested in Evan Ingram. They have a lot invested in Gabe. A lot of bad contracts. I think the problem is Doug Peterson, and I think he knows he's the problem. I think their offensive coordinator, I can't remember. I got to look it up because I have to give him not his flowers, whatever the opposite of flowers is. So the Jags offensive coordinator. Oh, yeah, Press Taylor. I knew that. Press Taylor was the OC of the Eagles as well, and that went to hell. I think the problem with them is, again, I think it has to do with their play calling. I think it has to do with Trevor Lawrence not having a real head coach for a very long time. So if I am Shad Khan, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at Ben Johnson of the Lions, and I'm going to hand him a blank check, and I'm going to say how much to coach the Detroit, or how much to leave the Detroit Lions for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Trade your main for some spots, please. That is step one. Step two is try to find a way to get rid of some of these contracts that you've spent a lot of money on. Pass rushers are a premium. I don't think Josh Allen is the one that goes. Trevor Lawrence is being paid a lot of money. I don't think he's the one that goes. So you have to cut ties with a Christian Kirk or a Gabe Davis, even though you just gave him a big contract, or an Evan Ingram, and they need to get younger. Offensive line is okay. Their defense is pretty porous. They're very far from the Saxonville defense. I think they have a great front seven. The back end is very tough, so I would focus on the back end. So if I have to get a list, their top 3 moves. Number 1, hire an offensive genius as a coach. I like the OC from the Detroit Lions, Ben Johnson. Number 2, they need to find a way to move some veteran contracts around so they are out of cap hell. And number 3 is invest in a secondary that can benefit from the pressure your defensive line is producing.
The third team on our list today is in the AFC South as well, and it's the Tennessee Titans at 2-7.
Well, this is a Tennessee Titans team that, if you remember, I do remember it, and TikTok remembers it. I said they were a surprise playoff team this year, and boy, oh boy, was I mistaken. This team, first and foremost, Will Levis is not the answer, so they need to look for another quarterback again, whether that is a veteran or a rookie in the draft. Coach Callahan has a long history with quarterbacks. He worked with a lot of top quarterbacks, most recently Joe Burrow. So you might see Tennessee as a landing spot for Sammy Darnold in the offseason. That would be a prediction for me. Step 1 is you have to get a quarterback that can run a competent offense. Step 2, it's not really anything that they can help, but it's stay healthy. They have a lot of injuries. Every single year it seems like something in Tennessee just goes awry. They're a turnstile of offensive linemen again. Their center, Lloyd Cushenberry, was playing great ball. He's done for the rest of the season. They have been a rotating right tackle slot because nobody's been able to stick. So number 2 is stay healthy. Number 3, I guess, shore up the offensive line. I mean, this is a great defense. They have the same problem the Carolina Panthers had last year where the defense was just on the field so much they're giving stuff up. But, I mean, great pass rush. Jeff Simmons, I think Bud Dupree. No, not Bud Dupree. Jeff Simmons, Arden Key, Harold Landry. Those are 3 players to play around. You have Calvin Ridley. You have Nick Westbrook-Akine. I'm not even going to say Traylon Burks because he's garbage. You have 2 great running backs. So 3 steps for the Tennessee Titans. Veteran quarterback and a rookie waiting in the wings for Coach Callie to work on. Number 2 is stay healthy. Number 3 is further invest in the offensive line.
All right, I'm going to skip over the Browns because the Browns have had all kinds of problems. It's just a mess.
There's
nothing you can do about that team. It's unfortunate. Let's talk about the New York Jets. 3-7, and just about as bad a team as there is right now.
So before I do my list, Nicky, just give me you're a Jets fan. Give me your finger's been on the pulse. What is going on with the Jets?
It's over. The dream is over. They don't believe in themselves. Our defense is trash. Our coaching situation is trash. Our ownership situation is trash. Our quarterback situation is low-key trash.
I don't think it's low-key trash.
I don't think it's entirely his fault at all. Our O-line is the worst in the league by miles and miles. Yeah, we have good receivers and a good running back and a couple good safeties that come to play sometimes. That's about it.
Buddy.
Oh, we have no kicker either.
You have an elite pass rush. Will McDonald's there. You have...
Yeah, how's that been going for us?
Will McDonald's like 3rd in the league in sacks.
And yet...
True. Okay, my three steps, it's very easy. Step 1, invest in a coach that is not going to let Aaron Rodgers run the show. We saw it with LaFleur in Green Bay. There's a reason Aaron Rodgers is no longer with Green Bay, and it has a lot to do with Matt LaFleur. Everybody always said they're butting heads, they're doing this, they're doing that. Obviously, they're going to come out in press conferences and say, no, we love each other. That was an obvious problem. Guess what? Aaron Rodgers is doing really well. Or no, he's not. Aaron Rodgers is doing really bad. The Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur, they're fine. Again, you need to hire a coach that is not going to stand for any of Rodgers. I want this player on my team. Go get him. I understand he's Aaron Rodgers. I understand he is one of a top 5 quarterback of all time. You passed your prime. It's okay. He could be serviceable past his prime, but you have to have
Flacco.
You have to have the right situation around you. So, step 1, get a coach that is going to run the team and not let Aaron Rodgers run it. Step 2, for the love of God, get somebody that can block. Drain?
Oh, I don't know.
For the love of God, get somebody that can block. The Tyron Smith thing is not going well. You drafted Olu Fashanu in the first round, and you're making him sit the bench. You gotta spend 2 to 3 picks on offensive line. We've seen it with the Cincinnati Bengals thus far. Spending money on an offensive line does not necessarily mean they get better. Granted, the Carolina Panthers spent a lot of money on their O-line, and they have one of the best O-lines in the league. That's awesome. Doesn't always happen like that. You have to put the right pieces in the right spots. So you have to find a coherent offensive line unit. And number 3, you gotta play like it matters. Because right now it feels like the Jets have gotten their lunch money stolen and they just don't care.
That's what Nick just said.
Aaron Rodgers comes out on McAfee every week and is like, no, there's still a chance. We can still make the playoffs. But it's like, yeah, it doesn't look like it. Breece Hall's not running hard. Braylon Allen's not running hard. Does Devontae even want to be there at this point? Like, it's just like, you got to play like it matters. You got to focus the talent on the field and not on paper is my thing. So steps for the Jets, a coherent coaching staff, that is going to run the show and not let Aaron Rodgers run the show if Aaron Rodgers chooses to return to the Jets after this season. That's also a thing, is they need a backup after Rodgers. They need life after Rodgers. So this could be a whole big problem, and this could be a totally different list next year. But coaching staff, offensive line, play like you give a damn.
Finally, last team on our list before we go Grammys Grinders is the Raiders.
The Raiders
2-7.
Raiders are in a decent spot right now. I think the writing is on the wall with Shedeur Sanders, because I don't know if you've seen this. Every time the Raiders lose, Shedeur Sanders tweets, "God is good." That's it. And it's only after Raiders losses. I think he wants to go to the Raiders. I think Antonio Pierce is he's the coach for him. They have Brock Bowers, who's a generational tight end. He's so good. Their offensive line is meh. Their defense is meh. But they have a coach that can set. They have a coach that can set a standard and be a locker room guy, and they have 2 generational players to build around. Not 2 anymore. They have a generational defensive player to build around in Max Crosby, and they have a high pick that they should be using on a quarterback. My steps: Antonio Pierce needs to find the right coordinators to work, right? You don't want, if you're the locker room guy as a head coach, you want a genius on your offensive and your defensive coordinator spots. Find that genius on both sides. I know it sounds very easy, but it's not. So find your genius. Your second step is you got to draft the right quarterback and put him in a right situation. I don't think this draft class has any over-the-top guys. I think Cam Ward is still making a lot of mistakes. I think your safest bet is probably Shedeur Sanders or Quinn Ewers. That's my guess, but you have to put them in the right situation. You have to find a quarterback coach that can work with young quarterbacks and grow and develop, and do not start him right away. That's another step that goes in with number 2. And number 3 is find pieces to build around Max Crosby and Brock Bowers. Those should be, you guys, they're locked up for a very long time. They're generational, and they play key positions. One is a pass catcher that you could run an offense through, and one is an edge rusher that is a game wrecker. So 3 steps for the Raiders is find your genius guru coordinators offensively and defensively. Your second step is invest in a young quarterback and groom him properly. And number 3 is build around Max Crosby and Brock Bowers.
That was a thing of beauty, Anthony.
Thank you.
Beautifully done.
Felt like Mel Kiper right there.
That was fantastic work. Very to the point. Beautifully done. Digestible for everybody.
You know what's real nice is I can make these clips for the TikTok.
Yes. Very good for TikTok. Grammys Grinder of the Week time. It's time for Grammys Grinders of the Week. Nick or Anthony, which one of you would like to go first?
I think it's Anthony's turn.
I will start.
Anthony, take it away.
This should be a very easy, very predictable choice for Mr. Anthony here. I'm wearing the hat. Run the damn ball. My Grammys Grinder of the Week, coming off of a massive contract extension, Mr. Chuba Hubbard, 28 rushing attempts, 153 rushing yards, a touchdown. The guy is averaged 5.5 yards per game against the Giants. Do you know how much he's averaging on the season per rush? 5.1 yards per rush. 161 rushes, 818 yards, 5.1 average, 6 touchdowns on the year. This guy is, he is the smash. Jonathan Brooks. I almost said Jaden Brooks. Jonathan Brooks is the dash. This is going to be a very, very, very potent offense in the next few years. Mark it. Chuba Hubbard, after having a career year, after getting a massive contract extension that was well-earned, you are my Grammys Grinder.
2 Panthers in a row.
And listen, baby, if they keep winning, I'll find a way. If it has to beat a ball boy. If they beat the Chiefs, it's going to be another Panther. So just get used to it.
All right, Nicky, go ahead.
Donovan Mitchell of the Cavaliers. This was my honorable mention good. The Cavaliers are now 13-0 as of 10 minutes ago. Nobody expected this. I don't know how they're doing it, but Donovan Mitchell, 24, 3, and 4 on almost 50, 40, 90. He's been grinding out this season. 13 wins already. Also, Evan Mobley and Garland have been helping him out, and they've been doing a great job. So he's my Grammys grinder.
Well done, Nick. My Grammys grinder of the week is a former Islander, now a Pittsburgh Penguin. His name is Anthony Beauvillier. All right, Bo had been passed around by the league a little bit after he left the Islanders after his, which to this day is the best goal in my fandom, which won Game 6 against the Lightning in 2021 to send that Eastern Conference final to Tampa for Game 7, where the Lightning beat the Islanders 1-0 on a shorthanded goal, which is sad. Anyway, Anthony Beauvillier is my Grammys grinder because he scored his 5th goal of the season tonight. It took him about half the season to score 5 goals for the Islanders. Beauvillier contributing and finding a nice little home in Pittsburgh. A good friend, a best friend of Matt Barzal. And I always root for the good former Islanders. I would do a lot to have him back on the Islanders right now. Although, that would just make it the same team still. He's one of the only pieces that left. And, well, he was a good one, but he was going to need more money. Yanni Gord scored that goal for the Lightning, that one goal, by the way.
I recall.
I still like him. Anyway, that was Sports and Spaghetti. Oh,
We have one more.
oh, that's right, we do. Sorry.
So if you guys are familiar,
I'm ready for it, too.
If you guys are familiar with our TikTok, we do Bet the Rent. It was a very welcoming. We loved that segment on here. We've moved it to the TikTok to get some more traction. What we're going to do here is you're not going to get our Bet the Rent, but you're going to get the Sports and Spaghetti. We'll call it. We'll find a name for it if one of the students wants to give a name for it. We're going to do a parlay, all right? And it's going to be Saturday and Sunday, so you're going to have to wait it out. Chris, for the time being, Chris is going to give us an NHL goal scorer. Nicky is going to give us an NFL touchdown scorer, and I'm going to give you an NCAA touchdown scorer. We don't know what this will be. I'll post a graphic on the odds. Who is your goal scorer?
I love that you picked me for goal scorer. I hate doing goal scorer picks on betting apps. I just want to say that. Bet at your own risk. But if I had to go with one person on Saturday, November 16th, I'm looking at the Blues versus the Bruins, which, yes, was just a matchup yesterday that won you some money. Fresh off the this is on the heels of Anthony's great week in sportsbook history. David Pastrnak again against the Blues. Book it. He's going to score a goal against St. Louis on Saturday. David Pastrnak, pasta.
So we got pasta. We're going to move on to, we're going to keep it on Saturday here. I think touchdown scorer, this guy is a vulture in the SEC. Dylan Sampson, the running back for the University of Tennessee. They're playing Georgia. I think Tennessee's going to knock Georgia out of the college football playoff this weekend. I think Dylan Sampson is going to run into that end zone. Dylan Sampson is going to score a touchdown. Nicky on Saturday.
Jonathan Taylor on Sunday.
Boom.
The Jets are trash. Jets can't stop the run. Jonathan Taylor's been struggling to get a touchdown, so you'll probably get good odds for this, but he's not struggling to get yards, so he'll find the end zone.
So, like I said, we will post the odds. They're in my hand. Boom. David Pastrnak is going to score. Not is going to. Please bet at your own risk. David Pastrnak, anytime goal. Dylan Sampson, anytime touchdown. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown. If you want to get the rest of the betting slate, I'm on a heater, so you might want to follow me. If you want the rest of the slate, check us out on TikTok. Chris will give you that in a few minutes.
I'm actually going to give it to you right now. A
few seconds.
Follow us on YouTube and do this.
You know that's yet to be in a video.
I know. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it again. Now it's there twice. Follow us on Instagram at Sports and Spaghetti Pod and on TikTok at Sports and Spag Pod. And thank you, everybody, for listening and watching to yet another episode. We march closer to 100.
The slow and steady. The slow and steady.
Take us home, Ant.
All right, I'm Ant. That's Nicky. That's Chris. No food today. We talked about some food with Nicky. That's dinner we brought Chris. My mouse decided, hey, they should have some food. As always, take care of your loved ones. make some cornbread. And as always, stay full.